Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel or my IGTV channel. What is going on, people? If you're new to my channel, feel free to do whatever feels natural for you. Maybe subscribe, leave a comment, I don't know, anything is appreciated. Today, in this amazing day, I want to speak about some tools that you can use in order to actually start your spiritual journey. Now, the spiritual journey is a very fun one. You may experience a lot of things that you never thought were possible to experience before. You actually activate your spiritual senses and you actually become the space for higher consciousness to actually speak through you, to increase your intuition, to actually feel yourself in a happy place maybe, and actually increase your vibrations with the tools that you feel are natural and are necessary in order for you to actually increase your consciousness in such a way that you can actually attract, manifest, and experience anything that you want in this life. Now, again, the spiritual journey is a very fun one. It also has its dark side. It also has its low moments. You may also experiencing yourself being in a state where you are in between zones, where you actually get to know yourself a bit better. But in today's videos, I'm gonna share some tools that you can actually use in order to start your spiritual journey in a fun way, in a way that actually reflects your curiosity, in a way that actually represents the version of yourself that actually wants to expand and is actually curious about some concepts, maybe some things, some information that actually allows himself or herself to be in alignment, to be grateful, to be happy. Now, if you are starting your spiritual journey and if you feel that you resonate with this type of message that I am sharing today, you may also find yourself at the beginning phase of your spiritual journey. Now, I would name some tools that I use. I would name some consciousness that I am attached to in a way that I can actually create my own experience of spirituality. Now, at the beginning of my spiritual journey, I actually didn't really know what was happening. But with further inspection, I realized that my spiritual senses were actually activated in such a way that I can actually discover what was actually going on. Now, in the spiritual world, in the spiritual process, there is this thing called spiritual awakening. And if you are experiencing this, it means that you are now getting to know yourself at a different level. You may resonate with concepts such as chakras, higher self, divinity, out-of-body experiences, lucid dreaming, kundalini energy, prana, life force energy. And at the beginning, I would recommend for you guys to actually start being curious about these things. So I would recommend for you guys, and I think that you would also feel a natural instinct to view videos, to read books, to read information that reflects these things. So the first thing into starting your spiritual journey is to get curious about the spiritual stuff, is to get curious about the spiritual world. And the planet is actually raising its vibration, and you, by being curious with this information, about this information, you actually give yourself the opportunity to grow. But you are not only giving yourself the opportunity to grow, you are actually giving the whole planet the opportunity to grow. So the first tool would be get curious about these things, and it is also something natural that you will feel if you are starting your spiritual journey. You will get curious about stuff. Now, the second thing is to actually question yourself. If you are getting into the spiritual path, you will realize that yes, your senses are getting sharper. Now you have access to all kind of information. But the next stage would be to actually question yourself. What does it really mean to question yourself? To question yourself it also means to question the way the universe works, the way your thought pattern works, the way your emotion works. And these things will actually get you into a space that you will need to find alignment with your inner self, with your inner being. So the second stage would be questioning these things, because yes, when you get curious, you will feel a need to actually believe everything that you see on the internet, to believe everything that you read. But at the same time, yes, these things may be real, but at the same time they might not really resonate with you, and they may also resonate with you. So it's like take the things that resonate with you and actually focus on that. So the second stage would be questioning. The third thing that I would use into my spiritual journey is finding emotional balance. Now, in my journey, at the first stage of my spiritual development, I used to feel very happy. I used to feel very intuitive. But what I didn't know was the fact that also darkness would actually come into my vibration, that also painful moments would actually come into my reality. So the third stage would be balancing the emotional field. Now, after getting into your subconscious with all this information, you will find yourself that you are getting to be more wise, more expansive, you will find yourself in such a way that you are actually feeling powerful. But in the spiritual process, there is, like I said, there is also darkness coming out into the surface, and you will actually need to question this and actually find a place within yourself where you can actually observe yourself as the observer of the experience. So you must observe the observer and actually balance the emotional field. That is a powerful thing, because yes, we could go on into the la la land and actually experience all this higher dimensional maybe stuff, but we haven't yet integrated the emotional field and the mental field, and maybe even the material field, which is the physical body. So you will need to balance yourself in the spiritual process in such a way that you will actually find alignment with the actions that you want to take, with the passions that you're curious about, with the information that you keep reading. So the third stage would be finding balance in the emotional field. Now, the fourth tool that I would use into starting the spiritual journey is to actually integrate these things. So now you are starting to read more, you are starting to be more curious about life. Maybe you have also experienced darkness, and you need to actually integrate this darkness in order to become your complete self. Because I strongly believe that in life there is also this thing called accepting the negative, the shadow side. Now, this is really a powerful thing to do, because you also realize that life is not all about love and positivity, even though love is all there is, but you also realize that there is also a need to integrate the shadow self. And how do you actually do this? I personally have found myself being in resistance to this shadow self, but maybe even now I'm still in resistance with this shadow self. But I realized that the purpose of this shadow stuff, of this darkness, is to actually increase my vibration in such a way that I can actually become smarter, kinder, and wiser. Okay, so the purpose of darkness is for you to actually see the light. The fifth tool that I would use is to actually follow your passion that represents light working, that represents yourself maybe sharing a spiritual message, that represents yourself using your talents in such a way that you can actually help the world expand. So this is what you must do in order to start a beautiful spiritual journey, is to actually integrate yourself in such a way that you can actually use your talents, that you can actually use yourself, that you can actually open your heart in such a way that you are actually using this stuff. So this is only my subjective perspective. It is here to give you some tools, but I'm sure that at an intuitive level you already know what you gotta do. Your higher self already knows what he or she has to do in order for you to actually expand your consciousness in this amazing universe and realize that there are higher states of consciousness, there are normal states of consciousness, and there is a combination between the two. So you really must integrate everything, even the darkness, even the fact that you are curious about some stuff, and you actually must place the work. You must put in the work in order for you to actually become a space of completion. Okay guys, so these are the tools these are the tools necessary in order for you to start your spiritual journey in my perspective. Now, there are a lot of things that you can actually focus on. There are a lot of things that you can actually grasp on, and make sure that you actually share your journey. Make sure that you actually become a light worker. Make sure that you are getting curious about all this beautiful information that is available to us in this age of information, and make sure that you actually accept your emotions and actually integrate yourself as this positive vibration. Okay, so I think this is it. Now, the spiritual journey again is a really fun one. It is a really fun process, even though it may also bring darkness up to the surface. But in the end, you realize that you came here on the planet with a higher purpose. You realize that you came here on the planet for the big game to actually happen inside of your own consciousness. And also one good tool is to also realize that life is about internal stuff. So they even say that there may not be an external reality. Everything is happening on the inside. So the inside is actually connected to the outside, and the outside actually reflects what you are feeling, what you are thinking, and what your intentions are maybe, and even what you are doing. So the process of getting into spirituality is a fun process. It is raising your intuition, it is making you curious about this stuff, but also there is a side of the human self that you must integrate, that low vibrational stuff that you must integrate, that resistance emotion that you need to accept in order for you to be integrated into the spiritual awakening process or in the spiritual process. Thank you for watching, guys, and it is my pleasure to serve you with this message. I realize I am expanding each day. I'm super grateful for that. Keep being awesome, keep being yourself, and keep sharing your perspective, keep learning about stuff, and keep doing the work, maybe the self-development work that you need to do in order to be an infinite spiritual being that you are. Thank you for watching, and like always, see you on whatever is coming up next. Ciao, guys.